Hey, good morning. It's time for another episode of Coffee with Mr. Larry. It is nine. No, it's not. It is 9:12, but it's March the 30th, and Easter week is in the. We're in the middle of Easter week, and if you celebrate that, I'll remind you that it's time to reflect and all that. So we'll talk about that some other time. So we're going to talk today about, we're going to continue our conversation today about a subject that we need to have, a conversation we need to have, and that's about long-term care and taking care of that before it's too late. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll kind of go through a couple of things, and I promise it won't last forever. All right, here we go. So today is National Virtual Vacation Day. Now, there were a lot of days I could have chosen today, or a lot of choices today. It could have been National Doctor Day, and they deserve that. It could also be National Pencil Day, but okay. And I almost went with this one, National Turkey Neck Soup Day. Now, think on that just a minute. I will say my daddy growing up, he grew up during the Depression, and his favorite part of the turkey, his favorite part of Thanksgiving was the turkey neck. And trust me, nobody else in the family fought him over that. But anyway, I decided I needed a vacation. And if it was just virtual, I'm down with that because it's time for, I need a little time off. So we'll have a virtual vacation later today. Here's your word of wisdom for today. Somehow I thought growing old would take longer. Those of you that are watching that are in that are in that class, welcome. And isn't it funny how we got as old as we got, as fast as we got there. So, but as my wife continues to remind me, you can get older but not be old, and that's kind of my goal. All right, here we go. This is for the stuff we really need to talk about today. We talked a little bit yesterday about the hypothetical cost associated with long-term care. There's all sorts of sources and places you can find these numbers. They vary all over everywhere, but these are pretty accurate numbers that you could check really inside your local area. I know that my mother-in-law, who just passed, she was in an assisted living facility, and she was paying more than that $3,180. But you get the idea. It's costly, right? It's going to cost some money. 70% of all of us on this call, if will encounter, if we live long enough, will encounter long-term care need before we die. The question is, how long will we need it, and what will it cost when we get there, and how are we going to pay for it, right? So a couple of other reminders using that number. 5 years in an assisted living facility will cost $190,000. I suspect more, because the rates in all of these places are going up because we're getting more and more demand for them because there are more and more boomers turning that age, right? What are you going to do about that? Who's going to provide the help? How are you going to pay? So I told you, again, this one I try not to talk specific products much, but this is an example. How do you pay for that? If I want to have a plan, how do I make a plan? What can this plan consist of? Well, there's good old traditional partnership plan, long-term care products. We're going to talk about those tomorrow. But this is a hybrid product. It uses an annuity And that annuity will function just like a traditional. This one happens to be a guaranteed interest rate annuity. Better in the money, you're making a better return on it than you would money in the bank. And here's the magical part. If you put that money inside one of these annuities, depending on the 12 questions, you could easily see the amount of that coverage double in long-term care events, or triple even if you're healthy today. So think about that a minute, right? If you got $200,000 in this example tucked away in a CD someplace in the bank, kind of sitting aside waiting on long-term care, number one, you're not making any interest on it. And number two, it's worth $200,000 when you go to pay for long-term care. Well, you could take and put that $200,000 into this kind of annuity. This one pays 3%, by the way, guaranteed, which is a heck of a number in today's world. And if long-term care event happens, it will double the value. You immediately get double the value or triple the value, depending on how your health was when it was underwritten. I mean, I want you to look at those two boxes down at the bottom, right? That'll go a long, long way to keeping your independence, keeping your choices alive and available instead of being stuck in a Medicaid bed. All right. Got a little quickie points. Again, this happens to be put out by Global Atlantic, but the truth is the truth, regardless of the company. You do get tax deferred growth. The long-term care rider charges, which really aren't even in the plan I just showed you, are not taxed as distributions. The benefits are tax-free. The money that goes into there is tax-free. And you can take existing monies and convert them from the cash value, like in a life insurance policy or wherever, into one of these things. And we can show you some pretty interesting ways to do some pretty interesting stuff. Not with this product, but with a similar product, you can even take qualified money over time and turn it into non-taxable long-term care assets, right? Okay. So that's kind of my story about long-term care. Let me jump back over here so I can see you. Here's the deal, right? Nobody wants to talk about it, but the truth is that if the odds are in your favor, you're going to need some sort of long-term care before it's over with. It might, if you got the resources, it might very well could happen for you in your home. Would you rather receive care sitting in your Barca lounge or in your den, or in a facility someplace? Right? When this happens, so here's the question that I think all of us have to answer. Are we going to throw the dice and think we're going to be in the 30% where this never happens? Or are we going to be good planners and stewards and take care of our old age while we can younger now, right? Will you have the event? How do you want to spend, where do you want to receive that care, and how are you going to pay for it, right? Now, the good news is, in that example I just showed you, in these, what they call hybrids these days, in these hybrids, if you don't use the money for long-term care, you don't lose nothing. You still got the annuity, you still got money you can pull out of. If you passed before you ever touched any of it, then the money's going to go to your heirs. Nothing's ever lost. So if you don't know about these things, if you've never had a good conversation, if you've never looked at the numbers, I'm obviously pleased to do that for you. If not with me, have this conversation with somebody who knows about taking care of long-term care. All right, I'm going to end it. It's 10 minutes long. God bless you. Have a great day. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We will be back tomorrow and for another little episode of Coffee with Mr. Larry. Take care. Bye-bye. God bless.